Okay, we're going to try something new today. So I used to have a GoPro, and I sold it to a friend, and then ended up trading it back. So I mounted it to the ROPS, the rollover protection bar on the tractor, and did some work yesterday trying to see how we could get this to go. And what I'm doing is filling in a duck pond that I was digging, but we decided that we weren't ready to have ducks at this point, and that this wasn't the right place to do it. So I spent about 5 days of digging after work, and moved 4 dump trailers full of dirt, so about 16 or so yards of dirt down to the south side of the property so that they could be used to bring the driveway that I'm working on, bring that up. But since we changed our mind and we gave away the ducks to somebody else, and this will just be a chicken area now, the hole needs to be filled in, and I didn't want to dig from somewhere else. I don't mind if there's some contours to the land that'll help give some variety to where the plants are, things, whatever, give us something to play with. But I do want it smooth so there's no drop-offs or tripping hazards, things like that, falling hazards. So what I'm doing is using the box blade with a very aggressive scarifier setting, and going back and forth and just digging up the dirt and loosening it, and then I can come back through, which you just saw here, and I'm moving that loose dirt into the fill hole, or into the hole that I'm filling, I guess, technically. While I was digging this, we found lots and lots of rocks, which is unusual for our property. Rocks are pretty rare, and there's a spot where I need to build a retaining wall, so I have been collecting all of the rocks that I can find, and when I dug this hole out, I just kind of set them off to the side, knowing that I would end up coming back and moving them later, and it's now later. So we're going up here. This is the pavilion area is what we're calling it. You can see there on the left there's a frame that will eventually be a pig smoking barbecue pit. What I'm doing now is taking the dirt that was piled up to build this ditch last fall, and filling it in so that I can safely drive further than where I need the rocks, so that I can work on filling that in eventually. And then I decided I was going to use the scarifier on the box blade to loosen this up and take some of the dirt, and there's a bunch of little branches and things, because this is where a lot of firewood got piled up and then kind of got buried. So I'm just loosening that and pulling it forward, then scooping up some of it. Then I'll head back down and dump this in a second little pit that we had that was going to be the beginning of it was going to be the overflow for the pond, and then the beginning of a ditch to go wind through the bottom portion of the field, which is going to be eventually this whole field will be mostly orchard, except for the chicken area. That's kind of becoming a bit more permanent than it was originally planned to be. So who knows? The coop is actually built with the intent of being able to move it, so that coop there on the right has a 4x6 structure frame underneath. It's 9x9, and there's 4 4x6s that run I guess, horizontally, and then 2 4x6s that run straight across the front and back, and then there's a series of braces through the center. The floor is 1.5 by 6-inch boards. Let's see here. You can see I can drive a little bit further forward now to dump those rocks. So behind the rocks there is actually going to be like a little flat area where we're going to build a swing, I think is the plan. And then there will be a rock retaining wall, and then the ditch will flow in front of that, and kind of it'll actually go underground a little bit there, so we don't have to worry about it during the winter. That'll be kind of a big party public area type thing, sort of, whatever. Yeah. And so again, I'm just bringing some dirt from up there down here, since I need to get rid of it up there, and I need to fill in this hole here on the left, and then just keep moving along, keep picking up some rocks. I'm trying to scoop up as much as I can, because moving them by hand sucks. They're big, heavy rocks. But one of the cool things is that the GoPro actually lasted about an hour and a half, and so this is actually set at 10x for the actual speed, so you got an hour and a half's worth of working on this little area in about, what, 12 minutes or something like that. And this actually is working much better than trying to hold the camera, which is what we ended up doing. There's a big oak stump that I had dug up somewhere else on the property, and it turned out it wanted to start sprouting after I dug it up. I thought it was completely dead because it was cut down like 12 years ago. But apparently exposing the roots to sunlight, there was enough energy in them that they decided to start growing. So we're going to actually move that down here and hope that it'll turn into an oak tree that'll provide some shade for the chickens. And so now that I've got those rocks out of the way, I'm just driving around smoothing this down, which helps build that up so there's not as low of a spot, and then there's not as high of a spot. And then eventually I didn't get footage of it because the battery died, but I ended up spending about a half an hour just driving around in circles around the area, looping around here, loop around the trees, loop around the area in the back right there behind on the other side of the backhoe. And for the record, we did use the backhoe obviously to dig this pit, but I did not want to use it for the purposes of today, because I wasn't trying to dig up the dirt so much as just smooth everything out, because I wasn't taking this dirt anywhere. And using the backhoe just would have been a little bit more, I think, frustration than it would have been worth. The box blade did a really good job of just loosening that top couple inches, and then I can scoop that up and move it around. So that'll be a project probably for later. And so here's where the battery died, and so I'm using a cell phone because I wanted to make sure we got footage of this, and I wanted to make sure we got this done last night. There's two problems with it, well, several problems with it. I got to be really careful to not hit those water tanks. I got to be really careful to scoop it up. I got to be really careful because that weighs a lot. I don't know exactly how much. The tractor is rated to lift 1,700 pounds at the pivot, and this stump was definitely pushing, like I couldn't actually lift it. Right here we're discussing trying to figure out how to get more weight on the box blade. We ended up deciding that Emily was going to sit on the box blade and provide some weight there, and Charlie ended up wanting to ride with her, so got an extra few pounds from the dog. That helped a little bit, but even so, I was still dragging roots in the gravel. That is a very, very big, heavy stump. So the goal is to get it in place here, and then I'll get some footage. We're going to be working on the fence this weekend, so I'll get some footage of the finish grading, the area now that the grading is finished, and then we'll get some footage of working on the fence. So there's the little oak tree that's popped up, and that's what we've got. So I don't know whether we'll see how things go. I might keep doing the just quick, few minute updates with my cell phone at the end of the day, but I might start doing just mounted footage like this, and we'll see how things go. Maybe I'll be able to do both. Maybe I'll do some footage until the battery runs down, and then walk around at the end and show how things are at. That might work out best. I don't know. We'll see how things go, though. Thanks for watching.